Welcome to Clueless Luthier. I'm Mark, and a lot's happened since my last video. There were a number of tasks that I videoed before that just seemed redundant. So I did do, I'll show you. This is where I am. I finished it, I fretted it, and I'm going to show you an update on the way I fretted. These are semi-hemispherical fret ends, and the first time I did it, took me an awfully long time. This time it took less, and I'm going to show you that. But I put the tuners on. I've started working on the nut, just roughed it in. So the next thing I'm going to do is show you the video. So this is an addendum that I hadn't planned on filming. It'll be part of the next video. I've been doing my hemispherical ends on frets. I filmed this in the last build, and my intention, as I may have already mentioned it, don't know yet, I haven't done it yet, was to include the original rather than do the whole thing. But I found this faster, better, easier way, so I thought I would just really quickly show you what that is. So these are the ones I've done. I'm going to now start out by using this. I snipped the tongs. I don't know what you want to, I don't know what they call that. The little bit that goes in there, the teeth. Cut that short. I then use a file. I'm going to have to do this so you can see it. This is part of the other video, but to take off any little bit of tang. Boy, that was nice. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is apparently shift the camera. Now, I've been using the vise. I have cork in here so that it already, so I can do it without it damaging the fret wire. There, right. Then I'm using a crowning file. And start out by rounding it off vertically. Since this is rounded, and it's basically the size made for this. A little bit more. Then what I do, after I have that looking pretty good, I start at a little bit more of an angle. Start taking it back and rounding it off. Kind of awkward in this position to do this, but so you can see it. Then I do it even more. It's bouncing around a bit, more than usual. All right. I don't know how this is going to show up. It looks kind of blurry to me, but I've got that all rounded off. Maybe I'll find a better way of displaying this when I'm done. So now back to the guitar neck. Okay, now what I'm going to do is take this and get this, okay, right up for length to just about the edge of the binding, outside edge of the neck. And then I'm going to take my nippers here and try to get a nice square cut. and I start the process all over again. Okay, so now both ends are done, rounded off. And just going to check, make sure the length is okay. That right there. Whoops. Clumsy here. That looks good. Okay. Now, I haven't done this before, but I have been using medium CA glue for my frets. This is the first time I cut them myself. And I will admit, it's not as clean as having them factory done. But, so just make sure everything sticks well. Put this in. God, it's hard to get that on a flat one to stay. Hammer. And that's it. That's how I'm doing my frets. This is going faster. I didn't really pay attention to when I started, but it's been less than 4 hours. I think it took 8 to do it the other way, so that's it. Now this part is all new to me. I put the baffle back in, that's set. Setting this up is going to be an adventure. It looks like it's going to have to be almost all the way back because I had that issue with the router here. The 14th fret moved up a little bit. I got a little bit of play, but not a great deal. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this together just roughed in. I'm going to put this on, leave the top off for now. So I can put a couple strings on. I'm going to put the 2 E strings on and start getting the height, this height, and the nut height cut as close as I can. So I can kind of see what I'm doing here and getting intonation and things like that. So first thing I'm going to do, I did mark with an awl where this goes, and the tape here to prevent me from going deeper than necessary. Okay. I don't know that this is the end I'm going to use, but for now, it's one I have. And I had my screwdriver right here. There it is. Okay. So now I'm going to go, I'm going to get a set of strings, and we're going to start working on this part. So I just put one string on so far, and as I expected, this is really, really high. I mean, that has to come down a lot, which is not a problem. I'll do some measurements and try to take it off a little bit at a time. I think I'm going to start with that first. Down here, I have to cut a slot, start cutting slots, but I think I want this a little bit closer before I get into that. Okay, so I've done these 2 slots, the 2 E slots, down to about where I think they're right. I put small slots here as well to hold the strings. I didn't realize my other one, the strings come here and actually do go back towards the center a bit. I thought it looked strange Anyway, I think I have them lined up the way I want. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the excess off the top of this and get it down to where it's more reasonable before I start cutting the other slots. All right, I have all the strings on. I've cut them into the nut. I've also cut them into the bridge. And as long as I have this set all the way back, the intonation is really good. I still have to work on, well, all right, I'll show it. I decided to make a special truss rod cover. This would have been the only guitar I made without a palm tree of some kind. I went back to one of my first ones, and I don't know how well that'll show up. I'll blow it up. That's my truss rod cover, and I'm going to use these really tiny magnets. I think hopefully 3 little magnets in here and on my headstock. And I may have to thin this down a bit. That's what I'm trying to figure out now. So let me think about that a sec. Okay, I added some tape here, and what I'm going to do, I got the string out of the way. I had to thin this out to make it fit under the strings, and so I tested that. It does barely. I used the tape to mark out the outline here and cut this out so I could see where it was. And I measured the batteries I'm using are so small they're hard to control. 3/16 this way diameter. It's only 1/32 this way, but they grab really well. So first, I'm going to do a punch here. I would have liked to do a Forstner bit. I don't have one the right size, and it wouldn't work with this anyway because the points are going to be a problem. I'm still figuring out how to do this without going too deep. With this, I can always fill in for depth if I get a little bit too deep, but I don't know. Backwards. Take it slow. So I ran into an issue. Well, these were really tricky to get in, especially because I always wanted to jump to the post or the strings. I did finally get them glued in. I ran into a problem. The super glue I had kind of was too much, and it got in here. So I ended up taking the tuners off, sanding that down a bit, and refinishing it. And here is where I put them on the cover, and it just jumps into place. It's really cool. The strings come real close over that. I was worried about height, and I took some off to make it fit, but that's done. While I had the headstock, I was refinishing it, I looked into how to put these screens in. It seems like really odd to me, method. But the one I found, basically, it's very loose, fairly loose. And the best recommendation I've found, because the tape works real well, I have this really, really thin binding tape. And all you do is go around it several layers, if you can get it started right. Let me try that again. And make a snug fit. Someone recommended plumber's tape I actually tried that. I didn't think that worked well at all. But this one does. It takes a few wraps. And it's a little bit trial by error. This thin tape is just about perfect for it. Okay, let's try it. See if that's a good fit. Nope, I need more. There we go. And that's it. We'll see how well they stay in. Okay. Now, let's see, everything is set? Yes. What I found with the strings on was the, I think I mentioned it earlier, the intonation worked really well pretty much all the way to this side. And so I think I'm going to do, I don't see how I can keep it there exactly, but I've been thinking about putting, let's see, maybe a couple screws, or maybe one? No, I think, I don't know. Let's see if I can make that work. So I decided to put in 2 screws. I don't want them touching the pan. I just want them, I want this to have some movement. And I drilled some really small pilot holes. Now if I can only hit them. Can I still take it out? Not really. Okay, that'll have to come out when I take out the pan. But that does limit it. Okay. Now, I've got to figure out how to make sure I'm centered with this. I think it's going to take some measurements. Okay, I took the measurement of this and balanced it out and made marks here. Now, in here and use them to center everything. That's pretty good. Just for sanity check. Let's see, from here to there is, that's good. Okay. And it looks centered this way. Yeah, okay. Get a couple and put in place. I'm just doing a small starter hole. What I'm using are these little screws that are used for tuners. I thought I had screws that came with this. I couldn't find them. So either I remembered incorrectly or I lost them. These look good. I think I need to start it more. I'll get another one in. Looks good. Now for the fun part. String this back up. That was a lot more of a process than what I ended up filming. I had to step back a bit. I had cut the bridge too low for the top to clear. I hadn't tested that. And I was really worried that I was going to end up with a really high action. It's really not too bad considering I want to do probably, I'm going to probably play slide a lot on this. So that'll give me a little extra. There's only one thing left to do, and that's the sound check. Okay, now for the sound check. Couple things. Well, one thing for sure. I was thinking that the action here was a little high. So I compared it to the resonator I have, the Swamp Dog. Let me see if I can, right there. That I used for some of the design aspects since I didn't have a design. And to be honest, the action of the 12th fret is like identical. It's actually, mine's actually a little lower, down by the nut, which hasn't been a problem so far. We'll see. I guess that's it. Then I have this tuned to D. First of all, I kind of like leather picks. I'm not a fan of, maybe just for fun, I'll do a plastic pick. Move the microphone back. And mostly I don't use picks at all, but so what I'm going to do, I do not consider myself a slide player yet. I'm learning, I'm trying. So I'll do my best, because that's mostly what I'm going to use this for, and I'll try to get a couple samples for you. And that's it for build number 4. If you followed along in this, I really appreciate it. I just do it for the fun of it. And I'm probably going to take the summer off because here in Central Florida, my garage is just too hot to build in the summer. I've air conditioned it in the past, and it's just too expensive. So I'm going to probably concentrate on I'm going to start concentrating. I'm going to better organize the garage / shop because it is a little bit of chaos at times. So until later, take care. Bye.